where I will show functionality of AlenAI, my personal digital assistant. I had some spare time on weekends, and since I love AI and love to build things, I've built my own real-life version of Jarvis, AI assistant that learns over time and picks up my habits and can be even proactive when needed. Of course, everything within the constraints. I've added some built-in security constraints, so AlenAI is perfectly safe. It will never execute financial transactions or share personal information and so on without explicit request and subsequent approval from myself. That being said, now you see what you see on the screen basically is the initial screen after you log in. Obviously I'm using a demo account because my real account contains pretty much great chunk of my life, lots of personal information because I've been using AlenAI extensively. So when you first log in, there is a questionnaire for onboarding, and I'm just gonna skip that for now, but basically it asks you a bunch of questions to get better understanding of you, who you are, what your business is, what your expectations are, and so on. So of course you can answer questions, you can skip some questions, you can always come back to it and answer questions later. Now AlenAI has lots of features, and every weekend I'm adding more because it's my pet project. And I'm also discovering, I've basically built it to help myself and to increase my own productivity and just make my life easier, and I'm super happy with it, but I always find out new things that I need, and as I discover this, then I just every time when I have some free time, usually these are weekends, sometimes late nights, I would add new features and test and so on. So let's start with the explanation. When you first log in, what you see is this initial screen, and I wanted to have this app as something where you can just log in, and if you want, you can just do everything from a single user interface. But if you feel a need and you want more specialized interface, then there are some modules that have dedicated interface, like for example email, mind maps, and so on. But everything is connected. It's a single brain that has many sub-agents, but the single brain, the manager agent, is kind of responsible for everything. And the reason that I've decided to architect this app in this particular way is because I wanted manager agent to simulate a human executive or human assistant or co-worker, call it any way you like. And I wanted it to have ability to learn about you, to adapt to you, to pick up your likes, dislikes, your habits, your patterns, and to also be proactive when needed. So in order to accomplish this, I didn't want to have a bunch of different agents that do things independently, but I wanted to have one single agent, which is a central brain that kind of orchestrates everything. Now, that being said, on the left side, I'm just going to go quickly and explain you the interface. So in the central part, you have this canvas, you have some questions that you can click to get the answers on, and then on the left side you have a new chat. So obviously now this is a new chat. We don't have anything in history, but if you have one chat open, for example, let's just say this is some test chat, and if I open this, then you will see that this new chat will show up in history. Now there is when you hover over this chat in history, there is a little trash can. So if you click on it, it will get deleted, and then when you refresh, it will be gone. Of course, this questionnaire, since we didn't answer this, comes up again. I'm just gonna skip it again. So anything I want, I can do from this interface. I can ask it, for example, to create notes for me, or I can say create a mind map, and let's demonstrate this. So for example, if I just add here in the chat a prompt to create a simple mind map and hit enter, it says done, mind map created. So if I go here, and this is basically a button, when I click this menu, it will show dedicated apps. These are the apps and capabilities that have dedicated user interface. So one of these is mind map, as I mentioned. So if I click on the mind map, and if I go here, this is pretty much the prompt that I've entered. Now, this is of course something that is super basic, and since we are here, I'm just going to demonstrate some of the capabilities. So I can select this, I can move it around, I can select individual node, move it around. When I select node, there are arrows, and depending on where I click on these arrows, a new child node will be created, and then additional nodes, as many as I like. If I double click the node, I can rename it, so I can just say test, hit enter, and it's been renamed. I can also increase the size or decrease the size. I can convert this to square or to a diamond. And if I wanted to have parallel trees, I can just start a new node by right clicking on the canvas and saying new node, and then I can add additional nodes from here. I can also add a note. So in the note, I can just double click, and I can say here, this is a test note, and sorry, this is a test, and yeah, okay, just delete this. Okay, so double click, this is a test note. Okay, that's better. And I can add as many nodes as I like. So as you can see, this can be quite useful for creating mind maps. You can of course come here to the dedicated user interface and create a mind map, or you can just, as I demonstrated a moment ago, go back to the main chat and create a node from here. You can communicate with the agent using your voice, which I'm going to demonstrate in a second, or you can just type. So I've just demonstrated a moment ago that you can type and get results, but let's see how voice agent works. So voice agent is let's call it a dumb agent. It doesn't think, it just acts as a mouth and ears for the manager agent or for the central brain. So let's check its functionality.
Hi, what can I do for you?
It's a great question. Can you tell me what you can do for me?
I'm Alen-AI, adoptive AI at your service. I can run your inbox and calendar end to end, turn ideas into notes, projects, mind maps, and deliver deep research with decision-ready summaries. The more we work together, the more I adapt to your habits, preferences, and context, so I can proactively support what matters next.
Okay, so let's test this. Do I have any meetings in my calendar?
You have one meeting scheduled for today, March 5th, 2026, titled AI Testing from 10:45 a.m. to 11:45 a.m.
Okay, that seems correct. Can you list my emails?
I listed your latest emails on screen. Say, read them to me if you want me to read them out loud.
No need to read. Telegram. So if I go here and I say, hi, can you list my emails? let's see what happens. Emails are there. Let's see. Do I have any meetings in my calendar? Yeah, same meeting. Can you tell me what are your capabilities? Okay, good. So as I mentioned, basically there are different means of communication with the agent, whether we want to chat with the agent or speak to it or communicate through Instagram. Voice messages also work through Instagram or WhatsApp. I'm planning to add Discord and a bunch of other connections. There is a dedicated MCP server. So let me continue down the line. So we went through the AI assistant, and just one more thing when it comes to AI assistant, I forgot to mention there are a bunch of capabilities. Actually, what you see here is just the tip of the iceberg. A lot of these things that are built in are not really visible and are happening in the background. For example, one of the things I can do, there is this form scan 6, which is basically a form which is pre-filled, and then if I upload this form and I just say clean this form for me, it will clean this form and return a clean form to me. So for example, if you have some form which you filled in with the wrong data, or you made a mistake and you can't find it on the online for download, and you don't have a spare copy, you can just upload this to AlenAI and say clean this form for me, and it will return a cleaned form for you, and then you can print it out and fill it in again. Another functionality of the Forms agent, and again, as I said, all of these capabilities I will have a dedicated videos where I will be explaining in depth how all of this works. But yeah, when it comes to the form, another capability is you can upload a form. This can be, for example, if you have something that's relatively complex, like tax returns or some insurance forms or bank forms or whatever, or it may be something in a different language that you don't understand. So you can upload this form and you can tell AlenAI to act as a personal consultant, and it will act as your consultant. So for example, if you upload tax returns and you say, hey, act as a tax consultant, it will help you fill in this form field by field, and if it doesn't know how to do it, it will go out on the internet and it will use its web search and web scraping capabilities to find out information that is needed. It will learn this and then guide you step by step to filling in this form. Now that being said, let's go back to our menu, and the next one is RAGDB. So RAG database is basically if you have company data, some of your personal data, or any other data that is not on the internet, you can upload your materials here. This can be PDF, it can be doc format, Word, CSV, image files, etc. It will get uploaded into the RAG database, and then you can have discussion grounded in these files. And it will also provide reference. Again, I will have dedicated video on this, explaining this into great details. So yeah, that's another capabilities. Then we have automations, and you can just define here any automation you want. For example, as it says here, you can say, hey, every day at 7 a.m. summarize my emails, or give me a financial report, or whatever. Yeah. and you can add as many of these as you want. But as I said, this is a dedicated interface. You can of course do that directly from here. You can just say schedule or just give me a summary of my emails every morning at 7 a.m. During the onboarding, as I mentioned, there is a questionnaire. It will ask you questions about you, and it will learn your time zone, your preferences, and so on. And that will also help when scheduling tasks. So you don't have to tell it twice. If you tell it once, it just learns things about you and it remembers it. So next one is skills. It has a bunch of dedicated skills that you can add. You can add here custom skills, and you can also select from the template. Right now there are none in the template, but you can add different skills to the skills folder, and then all the skills that you uploaded to the skills folder will be listed here. I will again have a dedicated video explaining this in depth. So then we have projects. So this is like a Kanban board where you can create different projects, and then you have a backlog to do, in progress review, and you can do all different kinds of sorting. Now, interesting thing here is you can also click here and you can actually add project directly, or sorry, add task directly from your email, or you can add task directly from your calendar. So you just fill in the details and it will actually pull task from your calendar. One thing I want to mention here is if you go to the dedicated email client, so we have dedicated email client here. As you saw in the main interface, you can just say list my emails or whatever, reply to this email, delete that email, all that works. But if you want a dedicated user interface, you can come here to the email client and then you can see your emails. And one of the capabilities or options you have is if you have email which define some project or some activities and so on, basically you can just click here and say convert to project, and it will give you some information. You can accept defaults or you can do some modification, and then you can click create project and it will create project from this. So if you go here, open project, you will see there is this demo Q2 AI rollout plan. And now this is a project. So if you click, everything was added here to the backlog. Now this is one of the features that I'm still working on, improving this, but yeah, you get the idea. Now the next one, we have Google Drive. So here you have, for the moment, there are documents and spreadsheets, and if you click on one of these, then you will see basically just a quick preview. You can always refresh, and you can also create a new document or create a new spreadsheet from here. Demo of all of this will be done soon in a dedicated video. Then we have something interesting here, which is a prompt architect, and basically prompt architect it enables you to give a very simple prompt, and it will refine this prompt for you and then give you a quite sophisticated prompt. You can choose here, do you want to prompt ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or other? If you choose other, then it's generic. It will work for any LLM. It's all quite similar, but yeah, these are specifically designed for these three. And then you can choose whether you want detailed or basic. And here, if you, for example, if I don't know, just ask something super basic like what is the best free way to get leads for my business. Now I could give optional context, but even if I don't give optional context, it might ask me some subsequent questions, like clarifying questions. Okay, what kind of business do you have? AI agency, let's put it this way. Who's your target audience? I don't know, solopreneurs, freelancers, small businesses. What specifically do you define as lead? Let's say name, position, email address. Yeah, just play dumb and see what happens. So let's say if I click generate final prompt, let's see what I get. So yeah, you get a little bit more sophisticated version that you can then copy. So you can copy and obviously paste in our main prompt, or you can save this as a note. So if I click save as a note, it says it has been saved as a note, and I will go and check if it's there in the notes. So but before I do that, there's also option send to research. So now I'm gonna click send to research, and you will see that it actually opened our main interface. And on the main interface, one thing that I haven't mentioned before is this little lab flask. Now it's grayed out because we are already in the research mode, but if we were just in regular mode, and I will show you this later, this will be pink. And you can click on it, and by clicking on it you are entering the research mode. This is where you want more in-depth answers to your question. You don't want just basic answer, but you want something more in-depth. Then when you first click this, you will get this basic notification giving you some clarifications, and then you can add your prompt. But in our case, because we already had the prompt and I clicked send to research, it immediately executed this prompt. And then you just we're given some clarifying questions which we can answer, and then execute, and then we would get detailed research. And I will demonstrate this as mentioned in a dedicated video. So let's see if that was saved in notes. So if I go back to notes, sure enough, here's a free B2B lead gen AI prompt. So that prompt is saved. If I didn't want to use it and just wanted to save it, it's there. So the next one we have, yeah, this is really big, at least in my opinion. AI employees. So you can create your employees. You basically click here and then you create a new employee, and then this employee can work 24/7 for you. You can give lots of parameters and give it you basically give it tasks, and it does this autonomously for you. And this will of course have very in-depth dedicated video, maybe even a two-part video where I will explain everything in details. There is also a template with some of the pre-configured employees like content writer, research analyst, data analyst, security advisor, etc. So MCP servers, so you can add a new MCP server, and I will of course add a bunch of these, demonstrate everything in detail in a dedicated video coming soon. And last but not the least is a book builder where you can define a bunch of specifications, describe exactly what you want, and then it will write a book for you basically from beginning to end. It will just write a full book for you, including the table of content, cover pages, everything. and I will demonstrate how this works again also in a dedicated video. So yeah, this was a quick overview. It's not possible to cover everything in a short video, but I've tried to mention some of the main capabilities, and soon I will have, as mentioned, dedicated videos explaining each of these many features and capabilities that AlenAI has in details, with a demo showing how everything works. And yeah, that's it. See you in the next video.